Hello everyone, welcome back to A Skeleton's Library. Today is a relatively simple video. I just wanted to go over the next handful of books slash projects slash reviews, whatever you want to call them, that I'm going to be doing. First up, we have The Martians by David Barron. Now this one is the most unique in that it's a non-fiction book, and it's about how essentially in early 20th century Americans kind of had a Martian craze, and we thought that there was signs of intelligent life on Mars, and it just kind of swept the nation. And it's kind of funny how things like that just reoccur with, like, even now we're kind of still Martian crazy with us wanting to find life on the big red planet. But this book is funny because I accidentally stumbled onto it. Like, I was just scrolling Amazon, and it was one of my recommended was this, and just seeing The Martians and that title, I was like, what could this be about? And I read the description and I was kind of hooked. I was like, this seems like a really cool little story, set in our country that I would like to learn about. And that's kind of like, I read a lot of nonfiction books, and I feel like these are the kinds that get me, which are almost kind of like narratives and very specific stories of their own, like just talking about this really unique event that happened in history. And so this is my book after King Sorrow. I have started it. I'm not very far, that you can see, but yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do a review of that, to be honest. Like, it's easy to kind of format a fictional book review because I know everything I want to talk about, from narrative to everything else, but I think going through a nonfiction book for the first time might be a little bit more challenging. And like how I'm going to talk about, like, if I like his writer's voice, the way he structures it, everything else. I might just talk about what happens in the book. We'll really have to see how I'm going to tackle it, but it just might be a shorter video, or maybe I'll just strap it all together. We really will have to see. This is the most, I'm just making an excuse that I'm going to make a video on it so I can read it sooner. Book on this list. Next up after that will probably be, I think it'll be Neuromancer, yeah. Neuromancer. Oh god, my copy's fucked up. Neuromancer, I feel like everyone kind of has heard about. It's like the grandfather of the cyberpunk genre. It's on my list for a while. I've had the book for a while, but I've never read it, I should say. I don't know why, it was just always on my list, but I heard there was a Apple TV adaptation coming, so I figured I'd want to read the book before that comes out, and then I can check out the adaptation and see how it does. After that, I'm going to do Stephen King, A Memoir of the Craft on Writing. And this one I just thought, because writing is like, I don't do it nearly enough anymore, but it's kind of like my main creative outlet. So I thought it'd be a fine idea to read this and see if it helps me improve, like, at all, what lessons I take from it, if it helps, etc., and talk about that in a video as I kind of review and talk about it. I just think that'd be a fun little project. Also being creatively fulfilling, not just in the video space, but in the writing spaces. I really do need to get back into that. One thing that I want to do probably this upcoming year is try to, like, get into them, because I read stuff like It and stuff. I was like a teen. I didn't feel it. I was like, this guy's overrated. I don't know if that was my honest thoughts, or just, when you're a kid, you're kind of pretentious and all up in your own head. You're like, oh, I know better. And I don't know better. He's probably one of the most beloved authors for a very good reason. I did like Mr. Mercedes. I remember when that came out, I read it, I liked it. But I've always been like a crime head. I love noir, detective stories, stuff like that. I just have a bias towards that, but I have been getting more into like horror type stuff. I really liked even like Joe Hill's fucking King Sorrow, so I can't imagine if I tried again Stephen King again, it won't like work. I do think my first book I'm gonna try to get into him though is The Stand, as that seems like the most for me book of his I've heard so far. And these aren't gonna be next. These will be last in this video, but they're just kind of like easier to show. I'm just gonna like do that. This is, spread those out. This is the Ring series, which I'm sure most of you know, the horror movies, which are based on these books. Very loosely from what I hear. I've never seen the actual movies. I have read the first book of this series because my friend was going through them and she really enjoyed them. I checked them out too, and I read the first one. I liked it. I do think it's a very simple book in its prose and story, but it's a good time. I'm gonna do like the whole series, probably read the first book, and then I'm gonna do a video just reviewing the whole series. But the idea is there, and this will be last. This is actually the last project. It's just kind of like easier to show. And finally, the biggest project here. It's gonna be the Clan series from the World of Darkness. If anyone doesn't know what the World of Darkness is, it's if you know the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, it's kind of like cult classic. The second game just came out, which we're not gonna talk about. I beat it. I don't really like it much in its writing, but I love the first game, except the last two boss fights. Anyway, it's just a really cool world full of like pulp fucking horror, full of vampires, werewolves, mages, that type. I believe it's a tabletop board game. Think like D&D. It's kind of like what it originated as, but I played a couple games of D&D. I'm not really. I probably would get into it if I had like a group to play with. I like it, but that's never been something I've like been too into or like attuned to. So World of Darkness is essentially a D&D like horror like game with a bunch of lore and a bunch of books. And I thought a mega project just had with me getting into the series and the world would be fun. And I figured the best way to do that would be with the Clan series, as it's kind of like, I think this is first gen. I think dropped the fifth, but this is like first gen, like the big overarching series that like changed the World of Darkness forever. I figured it'd be a good starting point to do a mega review on and be like getting into the World of Darkness and just going through each one. It'd be a fun idea. I do have a bunch more World of Darkness books because the best way to kind of get these books is to buy book lots on like eBay. So I have a bunch of these books and like series and like different stuff split off that I can get into at some later point. We'll see. This one I'm really looking forward to. It's a lot of books, but if you noticed, kind of all the books we went over today are smaller because I did The Strength of the Few and then King Sorrow, which was 700 pages to 900 pages, and I felt the burnout in the middle of King Sorrow, like to no fault of its own, because it's a great book. I definitely was like, yeah, I need to do smaller stories for a bit, just a little bit to get the break in. And yeah, that's been the next handful of projects that I'm gonna do and go over, and I look forward to talking about to you guys. I'll see you next time.